guys, welcome back to another recipe episode of In the Kitchen with Sandy, and today we are making chicken pot pies. These are so comforting and they are absolutely delicious and they are so easy to make, and I think you're going to enjoy this recipe. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, first off, I've got my oven preheating to 375. I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter in this heavy pot here, and what I'm putting in my chicken pot pies today, I'm using this is just frozen peas and carrots. You can use your own, you can slice regular carrots up if you'd like, but you probably need to cook those first. And I'm also putting potatoes in mine. Now I did pre-boil these to where they're nice and soft, because you can't really bake your pie long enough for your potatoes to get done, so you do need to pre-boil those. I just boiled this chicken breast in some chicken stock. The chicken stock that we're going to be using for this chicken pot pie is what I boiled the chicken in, and I seasoned the chicken stock, which is right here. Look at this loveliness. And that is so full of flavor. That's got about 2 tablespoons of butter in it, and it's one of the, I believe it's like the 12 or 16 ounce cans of the chicken stock. I used 2 cups of water, and then I added 3 bouillon cubes as well. I also used about a half a teaspoon of rosemary, about a teaspoon of onion powder, and all that's just so lovely together, and it's going to make for a delicious, delicious gravy type broth. I also used poultry seasoning in that, just a little bit of poultry seasoning. About a quarter of a teaspoon is all you really need. And we're going to let this butter melt in my pan here. Okay, once we get the butter nice and melted, you're going to go ahead and throw your onions in. And I've got my stove on about medium high, because you're just going to kind of stir these together. Just kind of saute them. And when those onions hit that pan, it's on point. You want to go ahead and cook these for just a couple minutes before you add your other vegetables, because your other vegetables, these are pre-cooked, they're just frozen. We're just kind of heating those through. Feel free to add anything or delete anything from this recipe. If you want to add mushrooms, you could add mushrooms. You could do like a broccoli, potato type chicken pot pie. You can add just about anything you want to add to it. And I tell you what, when you boil chicken, it is absolutely amazing. I gotta have a bite of that. It's so seasoned with all the delicious flavors. Now my onions are already starting to turn a translucent color. I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of salt, not a whole lot, because your chicken stock is already salted. It's already salty. And then we're going to add some black pepper. Guess what? That one's not open. It smells so good already. Just give it a stir. Piece of butter paper in there. It's not good, is it? Oh, it smells amazing. At this point, you can go ahead and add your frozen vegetables. And you're just kind of heating those through. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes. And this is like 2 large potatoes that I just diced up. You kind of want to make sure that they are about the same in diameter. Oh, look at that. It looks and smells amazing already. Now, I made my crust today. If you don't want to make your crust, or if you want me to show you how to make the crust, just leave me a comment below and I'll be happy to share with you how to make the homemade pie crust. It's really easy. It's not as difficult as you might think that it would be. I'm just going to heat this through. It smells so lovely. And now you're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of flour into this mixture. And what that's going to do is help thicken up your broth or gravy for your pie. And just give that a stir. You want to make sure that you cook the flour. You don't want no raw flour taste in your chicken pot pie. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. And at this point, you're going to go ahead and add your chicken stock. Now, if you buy the rotisserie chicken or already have some cooked chicken on hand, that's fine. If you don't want to make your own chicken stock like I did, just go ahead and use the cans of the chicken broth. But I find cooking your chicken first and adding all those wonderful flavors makes it taste so much better. And we're just gonna give that a stir. Now this is going to thicken. Notice the potatoes are all nice and soft already. Look at that. I also put some, as you can see in that broth, I also put some of the dehydrated onions in there. I love to cook with dehydrated onions. They give such a wonderful onion flavor. Look at that. Now we're going to turn this down to medium once it starts to boil. And we're going to let it cook for just a minute, just till it starts to thicken. We're going to go ahead and add the chicken back in there. And again, that's about 3, they're just small chicken breasts, and I just kind of shredded them with a fork. Look at that. Now, if you wanted to, you could just make like some biscuits and just like spoon this over your biscuits. And not even do the pot pie thing. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper. Oh my gosh. That is so good. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of parsley for color. Give it a stir. Look how thick that's getting. Now, when we come back, I'm going to go ahead and get my pie crust ready, and then I'll show you how to put this all together. Like I said, you can use the store-bought if you'd like, or if you'd like the recipe to this pie crust, just leave me a comment below and I'll be happy to share this pie crust recipe with you. But what I'm making mine today in is these little tins here, these little pot pie tins. You could also use the bigger pie tins if you'd like. You could use a casserole dish, whatever you want to use. I like to use these because they're individual. You could pop them in the freezer if you know, if you make more than you know what your family will eat. They're perfect, and I just love them. But I wanted to show you what I do here, just to get the. I've already put. Some people don't put a bottom in theirs. They just spoon the gravy mixture right inside there and then add a crust on top. I like to add the pie crust in the bottom because I like a little bit of extra goodness. You take your pie crust there. And you I just use a like pizza knife and just go right around. I kind of leave it a little bit big, not, you know, I don't do it exactly to this because I'm gonna have enough to pinch together, if you know what I mean. And then you just raise it up there. Well, you know what? We should have filled it first. Let's go ahead and fill it. And I'm going to tell you, it's very important that you let your mixture cool before you add your pie crust on top or on the bottom, because you're going to have to put that. I put mine in the freezer for about 10 minutes to cool off before I put it on there, or else it's just going to melt your pie crust. So what you're going to do is, oh, look how nice and thick that got. Look how beautiful that is. You're just going to ladle, you know, a good size helping right in there. Get a little bit of everything. Oh, we're gonna fill this to capacity. This is gonna be some good eating. I'm gonna a couple pieces of chicken. Put a little bit of the gravy in there. Oh gosh. And then we're just gonna add the pie crust right on top. Beautiful. Look how beautiful that is. And then you're just gonna take your pie crust and go right over top. That's all you do, and then you just start pinching. And now you see what I mean by having a little residual to be able to go right over top of that. Just pinch, pinch, pinch. Now I'm not fancy enough to do the edges like that, so what I like to do is just get a fork. Once you get that nice and secured on there, if you want to cut the rest of the residual off, you go right ahead, but I don't see a need to. And then I just take a fork and then just kind of press it down in there. That just helps to adhere the pie crust to your little pot pie aluminum foil container. And that is, whoops, that is all you do. Look how lovely that is. And then take a nice knife, nice sharp knife, and just kind of poke you a nice little hole in there, cut you a nice little hole in there. I'm gonna do crisscross just because. Definitely had to piece together some of the crust. I didn't make enough pie crust. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add a little bit of egg wash right over top of it. Since I can't find my brush, we're just going to use a spoon. This is just going to help ensure that it gets nice and brown. Look how beautiful that is. Right over top of it. You just take a little bit, not a whole lot. And then these are going to go in 375-degree oven for about, look at that, I had to piece that one together. I didn't have enough crust. For about 30-35 minutes, just so they turn nice and golden brown and bubbly, and then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Okay, my chicken pot pie was in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, and if you can get your egg washed on there a little bit better than I did, since I can't seem to find my brush, it browns up a lot better than that. And you can see where I got mainly the egg wash on at, but look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Absolutely gorgeous. Of course, I'm going to take a bite. These have been sitting for about 10 minutes. Oh, look at that crust. Look at that crust. I'm going right in for a bite of this. Yummy. Look at that. Look at that. Chicken and potatoes and the crust. It looks amazing. I don't know about you, but I like when things turn out good. I don't have tasted to know that it turned out good. So well. That's really good. I don't know about you, but I like potatoes in mine. I like that. It is what it is. Okay, miss a bite. I hope you enjoy this recipe. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Which, if you're watching, you probably already have. I am taking a bite as it's dropping. Hot. Oh, good. Make this. Perfect. You know I love you guys so very much. And I'll see you on the next recipe episode of In the Kitchen with Sandy. Bye.